Well, hey there, this is Jerry, and I'm bringing you another episode of What's Broke today. This will be a fairly quick video because I've already got started, but I got a bracket, a switch, made me a little wiring harness, and I'm going to install this on that 87 Blazer, and I'm going to take the one end out under the hood and attach it to the to one of the wires that activates the fuel pump relay. Then I'll run the rest of it inside, and I've got made this little bracket that I got a hole in it to bolt it to the dash, and then the second hole I'm going to mount the switch in like so, and so that's going to be behind the dash where you can reach up underneath there and turn the fuel pump on or off, so that if he parks this and he's worried about somebody stealing it, well, he can reach down there and flip his switch and turn the switch off, and then that way if somebody does try and steal it and the switch is off, the fuel pump won't run. And the only people that should know about this are all of you that are watching, me and the guy that owns the Blazer. So, but yeah, I'm going to get this mounted under the dash and get my wires run, and I'm going to let the video run while I'm doing some of this. And where I'm going to start out is get my wiring harness, and I cut the wires probably too long, but I made it where it had a little loop in the end, because there's a rubber grommet here where the speedometer cable goes through, that somebody has already poked a bigger hole, and it's got a couple wires running through there. That whatever was attached to the wires is no longer there, but I think that's probably a brake controller, because we got a hot, a ground, and a blue wire, which is usually going to the trailer. So I'm going to take and put my wire in my screwdriver like that and use this like a punch. I'm going to come down here where those other wires are at and try and punch this through right next to them, like so. And we're okay with that, because if I damage the wires, it don't matter, because I'm going to take them off anyway, or cut that bad piece out. Okay, and we look up here, which I don't know, I might be in the way, but the wires come through, and I can just, with that loop, I can grab it with my finger, like so, or you could use a hook tool to pull. And I'm going to try and put that switch, there's already a small hole started there, so I'm going to drill that out, and I'm going to bolt that bracket on the back side of the dash. Well, that may or may not work, because there's duct work back there, but I can always bend my bracket a little if I need to adjust. Next thing I want to do is, I didn't pull all the wires through the inside, but I'm going to route them through this existing bracket. And I'll have to come back with some zip ties later, but I'm going to get that up across there. And then reach over here and grab the wires. And see, on our Blazer, our fuel pump relay is mounted right up here on the firewall, and I had already unhooked it and pulled it down. And when I unplug my relay, figuring out what wire's what, when you look in here at your terminals, which that's my glasses. Now when we look in at our plug, we've got 3 large wires, our terminals, which are probably 1/4 inch, and 2 little tiny ones. And when you look coming out, one of the big ones just comes here and does nothing. But the two small ones, we got a black with a white stripe, or yeah, I think that's black. Then we got a green with a white stripe. I'm gonna take my knife and cut the tape. And then of course, after I get done, I'll retape it, because one of the objectives here is to do this and not have it look like I've tampered with it. But on the average car thief, I think most of them, if they don't fire up right away, they bail. So but I'm just mainly doing this because this is something he wanted done, and I'm just going to pull the green wire out of the harness. And I'll take my cutters and I'll clip the green wire and then strip part of it. And the wire I'm running inside for this is probably, it looks like, well, insulation didn't want to come off. Or the factory wire, that's probably, I'm gonna guess, an 18 gauge. And what I'm running to the inside is 16. And I just twist the two ends together, or the one end, and I fold it over. Just take it and just make a 90-degree bend on the end. And then I can grab my new harness, stick it up in the butt connector, and crimp it. I can take the green wire and coming from the truck and stick in there and do in the other butt connector and do the same thing. Then I'm going to take these and I'm going to try and stuff as much of this back up in the original harness as I can and hide it. Well, let me get my, forgot I better shrink. Okay, well, I come back. I heat shrunk those two red butt connectors, and then I took those wires and stuffed them up inside the factory loom up here, and then adjusted it through this new loom, just the black wires heading across there. Now I taped that to make a nice looking T intersection so it kind of looks factory, and then zip tied it across. Of course, put the relay back on in its bracket, and then we come through there and down and through our hole in the firewall and inside, and got that looking like, you know, it's factory and, you know, only inconspicuous, I guess is the word, as possible. I don't know how this is going to work. I'm just going to kind of prop my camera up on the floor. But I got my switch mounted in my bracket. But then what I was wanting to do, those vents are in the way. But I think I'll come right over here by the brake and drill a new hole and mount it over there, and then I can just take these wires, which I probably need about yay much. We'll go ahead and put the ends on them so they're done and ready to go. stripped, and I stripped off a little too much of the coating. I get in such a habit of folding the wires over, but this is larger wire than a lot of times what I'm working with, so that light off my camera shining in my eyes makes it hard to see. Get that in there, and then I can take my crimper make things look so easy, but trying to put that in my crimper, I pulled the wire out. So we get that back up in there and crimp, and then not real crazy about that light hitting me in the face, but I want to make sure you see. Okay, so I get them both crimped. I make sure they're secure. And then I'll take my lighter and shrink wrap these. The big key, keep them from melting, and just keep moving. So that looks good. I'll lay the lighter up there, and then always check back behind there, and there isn't nothing in the way. I'll just come right here and may regret that, but come right here and drill a 1/4-inch hole, and then I got a 1/4-inch bolt with a nylock nut, and I'm going to take these wires and run them up and over and around and through the woods and in front of the camera where you can't see. Go over that air conditioning duct work, and there they are. And it doesn't really matter which wire goes on which side of the switch. I'm gonna get them pushed on the switch, and they make sure they fit good and tight. Then just feed them up over the stuff that's under the dash and get the switch, everything over here by where I drilled my hole. Okay, getting closer. All right. And then I got that set so that when it's flipped toward the door it's off, and away from the door it's on. Alright, I ended up going up and getting a box end wrench, so I get up there and then my switch is right there. So off and on. And of course all my wires for that are hid. That these brake controller wires, need to stuff them up somewhere out of the way so they're not sticking down at our feet. But yeah. So turn the key on, and I can hear the fuel pump. Flip my switch, and now listen. Nothing. Turn the fuel pump on. There we go. Well, now we'll wrap up the video on putting a anti-theft device on this Blazer. That you could actually do this on just about, I'd say most vehicles. You just gotta, and you don't always have to do the fuel pump. I mean, if you can add a little switch hidden somewhere where you can, you'll keep the engine from cranking, or like this, I'll keep it from getting fuel. You know, on some of your more modern cars, your new stuff, you got to be a little careful where you cut and splice just because of the computer. But on this older stuff, we're pretty safe because this, I mean, this is about a rudimentary, basic computing as you can get. So, but hey, I appreciate you watching. Just stay tuned because no telling what else you're going to see on What's Broke Today. Thank you.